So, one of the last steps in making sure we have made some good revisions before we really go back and give our writing a good read is to take this graphic organizer and do what we call a five senses brain dump. In other words, you go back and think about the moment that you want to explode, and you zoom in on those details by thinking about what it sounded like, what it looked like, what it tasted like, how it felt, how it smelled. So, this graphic organizer helps you do all that without having to actually put it in your writing yet. This is a chance to just get your thoughts down. So, I am choosing my narrative scene is about watching my dad the first time he saw those giant sequoia trees that he had wanted to see his whole life. And I got to observe that moment. So I'm going to write down some of the ways that I remember it from a sensory perspective. So, what did I see? So, the trees towered. They were like skyscrapers, they were that big. And dad looked small, like, uh, oh, this is good, like a small, like, seedling himself, looking up at what could be. Okay. Um, and then around him, where my kids ran around him like he was a tree that they were playing under. So I've made a good comparison between my dad and the tree because they are both solid and strong. Okay. What did I hear? Stillness. Sometimes birds were singing, but in the distance. My kids sing song laughter and the deep breaths of my father as he took it all in. I smelled evergreen because there were little trees around, but I smelled that the forest, musty, but it's a comforting kind of decay, like life going forward. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just what came to my mind, so that's what I'm putting in there. So, taste, there was no taste, but this is a time when you could talk about how you taste. If it's a very suspenseful moment, I taste the tension, or I could taste um, fear or whatever. Okay, so that's another thing. Touch, I felt the soft cushion of the forest floor, which was covered in leaves and old bark. I felt um, I felt the wind gently touching my face, and it felt for a moment like the wind was the only thing moving because it was one of those slow down moments, slow motion moments. And this is also how I felt. I'm going to add emotion here. I felt like a welling up inside of my eyes and my heart and even my stomach of pride and sadness that he had to wait so long, and thankfulness for this moment. Okay, so that's a lot, and it's just throwing it out there. This might not all end up in my writing, but now I have these phrases and this just first immediate response of what I noticed from that moment, and I can transfer some of that into my writing later. So this is how you do a five senses brain dump. So now go off and do your own.